So I'm not sure if you guys heard the news, but there is a lot of changes going on right now with PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. And these changes could affect you. So I'm gonna let you know in this video exactly what changes are occurring and when they're gonna occur and how to prepare for it. So we all love using these services. It's so convenient, especially when you go out with someone, you have a few drinks, you split a bill, you give someone a tip, you can pay through Venmo. There's so many options to pay people, and it is great. But now the IRS is starting to notice a lot of people are starting to have businesses and receiving payments through these services. At first, nothing wrong with it, right? But the problem is a lot of people are not paying the taxes on the business income. And that is where the IRS had to step in. So currently the way the services works is like this. If you make more than $20,000 in deposits into your account, then you will receive a 1099-K, which means that income will need to get reported to the IRS. Now you would think $20,000, that's quite a bit of money, but the IRS now has changed it. And this is gonna come into effect very soon, and you need to be aware of this. It's not $20,000 anymore. Now it's $600. If you get any more deposits in your account that's more than $600 throughout the year, you will receive a 1099-K, and there can be tax implications. But there is a few exceptions I want to share with you guys, and there's some things that you want to do in order to avoid this situation. So one of the exceptions that they're recognizing, this is the service that everyone uses, is reimbursements from family members and friends. Now, what does that mean? That means if you go out for dinner, you go out to a concert event, whatever it is, if someone is paying you back for something that you had given to them, then that is exempt. Now, another exception is if you have a roommate. Say you have a roommate and you're splitting rent, light, groceries, you're splitting all these bills together. If you do this within any of these apps, that is exempt. But there's a caveat to all this. You need to have perfect tracking record. Every time you receive these payments, you need to track it, because it does not matter if you're exempt, you will still receive a 1099-K. You do not need to explain this to PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. You need to explain this to the IRS. And this exemption is the most critical one that a lot of people use this service for. A lot of people love to sell things on eBay or either on Facebook Marketplace, everywhere, and use Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. Now, here's where things get slightly tricky. It is an exception, but I want to explain this to you. If you have a product that you yourself paid $1,000 for, you used it for a few years, let's say it's a TV. You used it for a few years, you enjoyed it, now you bought a new TV, you want to get rid of it. The first thing you do is you go to eBay, go to Facebook Marketplace, go to any of these locations, and you want to sell it. You know you paid $1,000, but you want to sell it for $500. Perfect. Guys, if you're getting any value from this video, I really would love it if you hit the like, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and with your help, I will certainly get there. I really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video. You know you paid $1,000 for it, but you want to sell it for $500. Perfect. Sales done, complete. Now, this is the situation I need you to pay attention to. If you sell it at a loss, it is exempt, but you need to have the receipt of the original purchase of the item you sold. How many of us have a receipt? None of us do, especially if it's something you held on to for years and you never found the need to either return to the store, or you didn't really think you would sell it and you need to prove this to the IRS. Now, will the IRS harass you over this? Probably not. But that doesn't mean you won't get an overzealous IRS rep that for some particular reason wants to audit you, and you need to provide them with all this information. Because if you don't, they could make your life hell. You will have to pay penalties. There'll be so many things associated with it. So if you have a side hustle where you're doing this type of service, you need to take extra caution and save all of your receipts. With all those exceptions I gave you, good records is important on every single thing you do. You need to have an immaculate good record in order for the IRS to leave you alone. Now, there is things you could do to avoid this situation completely. Number one, you could just accept cash. If you accept cash, you don't gotta deal with receiving a 1099-K, you gotta deal with none of that. You are just gonna receive cash for whatever transactions you do, and you're good to go. The other thing is this: receive your money through Zelle. Zelle currently does not send a 1099-K. The reason why is Zelle's considered a messaging platform. The transferring is done within the banks. Zelle is just sending the message to the banks, hey, this person's requesting so much amount of money, this person received the amount of money. It's just a communication. Think of it as using text messaging services with a bank. Now, just because I gave you those options with Cash and Zelle, this one critical thing I want you to recognize. If you are operating a business and you are receiving business income, it does not matter what service you use. You would need to pay taxes on your service. Yes, you might skate by using cash, but you could get audited one day and they find out you're receiving cash payments for all these years, they could get you on back taxes. It's very scary. You do not want to play with the IRS when it comes to things like this. So if you're using these apps, you need to keep in mind that $600 threshold is something that's not difficult to break, especially if you are that person who loves to run the office pool games where you have to transfer all this money into your account. It could trigger more than $600 and that would be a problem. I love fantasy sports. I know there's times when I play in the league, the pot is more than $1,000. And that can be a complication for someone that is running services like that. So it's really critical, guys. If you're gonna be using these services, please use a very good record to make sure you are clean and you do not have to deal with any of these consequences.